7 straight wins, and suddenly the playoffs are creeping up just enough to hurt.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who've been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's show, we cap off a Fun Friday episode with baseball trivia and Name That War. In a few minutes, we discuss why former Rays pitcher Taj Bradley never looked at scouting reports. But to start, 7 straight wins. The Rays are rolling, climbing the standings, and suddenly one of the hottest teams, the hottest team in baseball.
And we're going to talk about all of that thanks to 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. It ends October 31st, 2025. Kevin, if the Rays win 2 out of 3 from Cleveland this weekend, they've won one out of 4, but if they win 2 out of the next 3, the playoffs becomes a real conversation.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge our mistake and our not believing in them, because who would have guessed that they would have a 7-game win streak in them with a lot of young players on or by September 5th. We are recording this before Friday's game begins against Cleveland, but credit to the Rays doing everything that we asked and demanded of them to remain in playoff contention. And what I will be curious about is, with every win, I'm going to be that weirdo, that nerd that is checking the playoff odds on Fangraphs after every win and loss, I guess. Just every day now, it's going to be a go-to, because right now the odds for the Rays have bumped up to 9.8%. So again, still a lot of unlikelihood out there, but it's basically double what it was yesterday or 2 days ago.
And 10 days ago was at 2%. And so, I will say, I don't fault us at all. And yet, and it's still, again, they need to win 2 out of 3 for us to be full believers here. But I do want to come out with a YouTube comment from an OG, Charles McGregor, who said, yes, the odds for a wild card spot are still difficult, but they improved tremendously. Aside from sweeping the Mariners, they also got really lucky because all the teams ahead of them lost while they swept, which improved their odds tremendously. Yes, they have 3 teams ahead of them, but making up 2.5 games can happen pretty quickly if they keep winning. I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more acknowledgement that this is a lot more possible. I was with you guys about their season being over until the Mariners series happened. It is still an uphill battle, but that hill was a mountain. And you know what? I agree with Charles here, because there were just so many things that we asked of them. And let's go over that to-do list that we asked them, right? First, we said, sweep the Nationals if you're serious about this. They swept them. Then we said, get to 500. Then we can look ahead. They did that. Then we said, you got to sweep the Mariners. I'm sorry. You've put yourself in this situation where you have to sweep the Mariners. They swept the Mariners. And now we're at the last step of the laundry list from the Locked On Rays podcast that we said, if we want to talk playoffs, you need to win 3 out of 4 from Cleveland. You've won the first one.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you win 2 out of the next 3, the playoffs become a real conversation, Kevin. And that would be so much more fun than what we've been having in the last month and a half.
Yeah, and I think that it is not that far-reaching or out of the question. Like I said, the Rays are the hottest team in baseball. The second hottest team, ironically, is the lowly Chicago White Sox, who the Rays will play after Cleveland. That will be on the road, and you would assume that the Rays would still be able to clean up and do well against them. But there is renewed hope with what the Rays are doing right now, standing at 71-69, presently tied with the Kansas City Royals a half game back of the Texas Rangers. And then to get to that third wild card spot, they are still 2 games behind the Mariners. What is crazy about all this is if the Rays do find a way to sneak into the playoffs, you're going to have 4 AL East teams because the Yankees are an automatic lock. The Red Sox are an automatic lock. The Blue Jays are an automatic lock. Now, the Rays, that's the question mark as of right now. But I have renewed hope, with the pitching matchups and how the Rays have played recently. Like, I have a little bit more faith in Shane Baz and what he can do Saturday going toe-to-toe against Tanner Bybee. I've got hope that Drew Rasmussen can continue to do what he's done all season on Sunday. Friday, the Rays in an opener, so they're being a little bit more creative. And then, winning in different forms and fashions. Like what they did last night against Cleveland, it wasn't one of those unique games where, hey, we're going to win 9-2 or 10-2 or 7-1. They kind of had to grind and battle. They get out to an early lead. They add to that early lead, and then Pete Fairbanks runs into some trouble. But they're ultimately able to pull out a 4-2 win with the auxiliary parts pulling through. Carson Williams, sacrifice bunt, RBI. You have Chris Morel stepping up. You have Jake Mangum doing some good things because in order to win 3 out of 4, you cannot just say, all right, it's Junior Camanero's job to pull through offensively. It's Brandon Lau's job to pull through offensively. Some of the other pieces at the bottom of the order have to be able to take care of things when those guys need a day off or having an off night or being pitched around. And the fact, kind of bearing the lead a little bit is Ryan Pepiot pitched 5 no-hit innings.
Oh, by the way, Ryan Pepiot keeps doing that every time out there for the last 3-4 outings. So kudos to Ryan Pepiot. And you're right, the auxiliary parts were the main show last night, but that's what we always talk about. The playoff teams, the really good teams, that's what happens. Your auxiliary parts are there. 2023, Luke Raley wasn't supposed to be Luke Raley.
Right.
Okay. Taylor Walls wasn't supposed to have that April. Just all those things have to happen for you to actually move on because Caminero and Brendan Lau and Yandy Diaz can only do so much. If you don't believe me, ask Shohei Ohtani and ask Mike Trout how those 7 years together went. Not that great. Mm-hmm. You can't do it all. But so you need those auxiliary parts. So definitely great for them to get involved. They have to get involved during this weekend series. They have to keep getting involved if the Rays want to actually make the playoff conversation real. But I'll say this. Out of everything that we have said and highlighted, the fact that they are doing an opener on Friday, regardless of how it goes, because you guys are going to know how it went before us, but I'm going to get ahead of it here. I like it because you are doing everything you can to set yourself up for the best case scenario. And if it's using Jax in as an opener first and then giving Seymour a better lane to give you the 5-6 innings that he probably can, then good on you. You're thinking outside the box. That's who you are. The Rays are like that. You need to scratch out any little advantage right now that you can because of the hole you've created. So good on them for doing that.
Yeah, I feel like haven't seen an opener in a hot minute now. And Cleveland's a good team to do it against because they don't have a very good offense outside of evidently Jose Ramirez and even Kyle Manzardo, former Rays farmhand in front of the show as well. They got back-to-back homers for the Guardians yesterday. What is kind of interesting about all this is we put a poll on the Twitter X machine, and it was pretty straightforward. Will the Rays make the playoffs this year? And we are divided by party lines. Yes and no. Red and blue. Republican and Democrat. Conservative and liberal. 51% say yes. 49% say no. In a weird way, this kind of makes it all the more interesting of there is so much partisanism on, can the Rays get to the promised land this year?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be crazy because we've had an up and down season, very high highs, that 25-9 run. Now, this one at the end of it, look, like we said earlier this week, what you want ultimately as a baseball fan, except if you're a Yankees fan, if you're a baseball fan of 29 other fan bases, you just want to have meaningful games in October. Meaningful games in September. I spoke like
September and October. You want them in October too.
Oh yeah, right. But like, you just want September to matter, because if September matters, oh man, you had a great summer. Like you had something enjoyable to watch, and they are giving us an enjoyable September. So hopefully they can keep going as much as they can. You know, as winning streaks are made to be broken. Hopefully this winning streak goes as long or longer than the one in 2023. But we should move on, Kevin, to Fan Fiction Friday. Taj Bradley's viral scouting report confession has everyone talking.
This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can also be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer as well. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. You must be 21 or older to order. And a warning here, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks.
Thank you for joining us on Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. There were a slew of comments this week, maybe last, because Taj Bradley came out with some interesting quotes saying regarding his lack of reading scouting reports. He said, "I just never did it at all. I was kind of out there blind the whole time." The fan fiction here is this has to be a reason, a factor of why the Rays traded Taj Bradley.
I would think so. For one, I understand the argument that generally the comment when you have young pitchers in the Rays organization and recently traded or acquired pitchers to the Rays organization, the Rays look to simplify the message. Hey, you're a professional for a reason. You're a major leaguer for a reason. Throw strikes, keep it in the zone, and the rest will be beneficial to you. Your stuff can play. Right. And I understand that this might also be a reason why catchers offensively haven't fared that well, because they have a brunt of the work as far as interpreting the scouting reports and putting that on and explaining that to the pitchers and basically being game managers out there behind the plate. But that quote to me is shocking, and it was shocking to many others because it drew national attention. With this, I understand it if you're a rookie and you're still trying to get your feet wet and trying to understand everything, and you don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to be overthinking when you're on the mound. But now that Taj Bradley, this will be his 3rd season with over 100 innings pitched, well over 100 innings pitched. You know, he's done 130, 140, and he's now with the Twins. You got to open up the playbook. You got to open up those reports and at least take a gander at them, or have somebody synthesize them. If something doesn't make sense to you, hey, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. And I would think at some point, again, this is just an assumption on our part because we've not heard comment from the Rays, and maybe Mark Topkin or somebody else will get the tea leaves on this, but maybe the Rays said, hey, you might want to do some studying every now and again. We're giving you this information for a reason to better attack and approach hitters and make you a more effective pitcher. And if he was like, nah, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel it out there on the mound. You might have to think as a Rays front office, like, he just doesn't get it, and we need to change course here.
I think, and again, this is all fan fiction. This is fan fiction Friday segment. Okay. So nobody knows what happened, but we have quotes from Taj. And one quote that he said, after my last outing, I figured now is the time. Okay. Get your head in the books. Learn a bit about the hitters you're going up against. Bro. Look, first year, fine. You are drinking from a fire hose.
Right.
Let the veteran catcher guide you. Sophomore year, okay, you're a little bit more comfortable, but you're still leaning on your catcher. Fine. This is your third season pitching more than 100 innings, and you're not, to your quote, opening the books.
Right.
You are just going there blind. Like when kids are looking up to athletes, they think, oh, isn't that fun? They just get to play all the time and they don't have homework and all. Kids, you're wrong.
Yeah.
They have homework. They don't just hit the gym, eat healthy, and then go play. No, there's workouts. There are meetings. There are scouting reports. You have to do this type of work.
Yes.
And Taj Bradley is saying, I didn't do that work. I didn't do that part of what would make me successful. So, I don't think it was more like, Neander in the front office is saying, hey, have you been looking at the stuff? And then him saying, no, I'm not going to do it. I think it's more like Neander, the front office, the coaches kind of intimating like, hey, is Taj reading the stuff? Catcher number 1, catcher number 2? Or are you really leaning on that stuff? And catcher number 1, catcher number 2 might try to be politically correct. He, try to cover their boy, but like, we've all been in that situation where you have to say something.
Right.
And either you have a poker face or you don't. Do all the catchers that the Rays have that have caught Taj Bradley have a poker face? No, they don't all have a poker face. That's the answer. So he gave himself away. And maybe they never saw him opening those scouting reports. And to be quite frank, Kevin, if you're Randy Johnson, if you're Greg Maddux, if you're Jacob deGrom, maybe the scouting reports don't matter.
Yeah. And you have so much experience at that point. You pretty much know the hitters and you have just a much better feel for the game. But this is a guy that's trying to make it at the majors. He's not established yet.
No. And look, he's got great stuff and all that, but like not elite.
No, he doesn't have Paul Skeens stuff where he can get away with.
Thank you.
And Paul Skeens could probably get away with, hey, I'm just going to throw fastballs wherever I want to. People are going to swing and miss.
Right. Like you can have that type of stuff. If you take, Tarek Skubal but Tarek Skubal actually worked at being Tarek Skubal because he's actually said it in interviews, how much he had to change his repertoire and his pitch mix. So like this was quite astonishing to hear that a guy in his third year of pitching more than 100 innings is still not looking them up.
And you would think that even like in the minor leagues, this would be something that is established. And I know the scattering reports aren't as robust and detailed and innovative when you're in single A or double A or triple A, but you're at least given an understanding of what to look for and what to look at. And hey, he's a starting pitcher. Once every 5 days, he's going to the office. And I know he's working out and doing long toss and bullpen sessions, but you've got a lot of free time on your hand to open up the book and take a look at guys 1 through 9 and who's on the bench. That's all it takes, really.
And remember, this also happened with Randy Rosarena. Remember this? Like a couple of years ago, I think we had a big article come out. And Randy was like, oh, yeah, this year I'm going to be reading the scouting reports. And we're like, whoa. But like, thank you for saying the 5 days, every 5 days, because that one is astonishing. Like, Randy, why are you not opening those damn scouting reports? But, bro, he's playing 150 plus games. Like, that's a little different, more of a workload than every 5 days, my man. Like, you can't tell me you don't have time. Every pitcher has time.
And I think, this is a little quote unquote inside baseball, but I've seen one of these cards, these flashcards
Mm-hmm.
that was left over. I did a ball. It's a long story, but I did a ballpark tour and I was able to snatch one.
Yep.
And it is pretty easy to understand. Like even that level of looking at things like, oh, this guy's been cold of late. Here's 3 bullet points on what he's good at and what he struggles at. He's good at fastballs up. He's bad at changeups away. And it shows the heat map of which pitches where he can handle and which pitches where he can handle. So it's not like you have to be a full-time analyst for Tampa Bay. They'll dumb it down to a one sheet for you. You just got to look at the one sheet.
Just look at the one shot. And again, some people are like, well, they're really thorough. Like, you don't think if Taj Bradley goes up there and be like, hey, guys, this is a lot. It's 20 pages. I can do the 20 pages. Any chance you guys can like maybe
make it more digestible?
Boom.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yes, we will. You want it in color paper? You want it smelling like roses? We can do that, boss. Like, we'll do it. Like, come on. So this has to be a factor of why they traded.
I would
Taj
think
Bradley.
so. Yeah. And luckily, I guess the Twins maybe didn't realize that. Yeah, he never looked at scouting reports. Now, to the Twins' point, if they're actually able to get him to do this on a regular basis, he might thrive and become much more successful than we expected. But then again, if he goes back to his old ways and he thinks he's got it, then maybe the Rays dodged a bullet by offing him and instead getting Griffin Jacks. And we'll see how, both these work out in the future.
Yeah.
So, all right. To wrap up today's episode, we'll take a look at the all-time homer leaders for the Cleveland Guardians. That's part of baseball trivia coming up next. All right, listeners, we have an important request for you all. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping out.
It's that time, people. You got to fuel up and turn it up with 5-hour energy transfusion. Grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course. That's basically every night. That's what Kevin dreams about, that taste of that golf course. Yes, he does. And whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push for yourself to get through watching Rays baseball, well, guess what? 5-hour energy transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor that you love. So today, you have got to try this so you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the U.S. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. It ends October 31st, 2025. Again, visit 5hewin.com.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your first listen every day. We appreciate it. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Ulysses, we teased the baseball trivia question that you have for us, but I will let you take it away before I will end things with Name That War.
So the Rays are playing the Cleveland Guardians this weekend. And so why not take a look back at their franchise leaders in home runs? And I have the top 10 home run hitters of the Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Guardians. And Kevin, I need you to name me 5.
Jim Thome.
He is the clubhouse leader with 337.
Travis Hafner.
That's a really good guess. He's number 10 with 200. Very nice, Kev.
I don't think. All right, I'll throw it out there. David Justice.
Strike 1.
Grady Sizemore.
Strike 2.
Ooh.
Stop swinging at junk. Come on, protect.
How many did Travis Hafner have?
200.
The question is, does Jose Ramirez have? Well, before I get to that, Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez is number 4 on this list with 236.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go with Jose Ramirez.
He is number 2 on this list with 282 and possibly will become the clubhouse leader in what? 2 seasons?
Yeah. I still want to say Roberto Alomar, but I don't think he played there long enough to do it.
You have just while you think, let's give people. You have Jim Thome, you have Jose Ramirez, you have Manny Ramirez, you have Travis Hafner. You need a couple more names.
I only had to name 5, right?
Yep.
Man, this is
2 strikes.
Do I want to name? I'm trying to think of a catcher, maybe. Ooh, this is really tough. I know there was like a Albert Bell or somebody of that range. I am stalling here.
It's okay.
I am having trouble. This is great podcasting.
I know, right? People are like, bro, can you talk?
All right, this is not it, but I got to give a name. Johnny Peralta.
Strike 3. Let's give you the top 10. Jim Thome, Jose Ramirez. Yes, you know him. People feared him. And Kevin said it. Albert Bell is number 3.
Oh.
4, Manny Ramirez. Number 5, he's still active, folks. He will sign with people that still want him. Carlos Santana is number 5. Number 6, Earl Averill. Number 7, Hal Trosky. 8, Larry Doby. Number 9, Andre Thornton. And number 10, Travis Hafner.
So I pretty much got everybody that I could have except for Albert Bell.
And Carlos Santana. Come on.
Yeah, I should have. I was like catcher.
Yeah, I was like, he's got both. He's got the catcher. He's got Albert Bell. So close.
Oh, what a mistake. All right. Name that war where we take a player from the past and try to guess that player's career war according to Baseball Reference. The player who played for the White Sox for quite a few seasons and was a very short time Ray, Alexei Ramirez. Skinny Alexei Ramirez. What is his career war?
The Cuban Missile, right? That was his nickname?
That's his nickname.
That's a great nickname. He was a potent player, people. Potent player for like a good 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give him like a good like 3 WAR those years. So that's like a 12. Bump him up. Maybe he had like a 5 WAR season there. So let's go 14 there. And then I think it was a steep decline. So let's give him a good old, if we give him a 17 and he played like 10 years. Yeah, that matches out. Let's go with 17.4.
Okay. Alexei Ramirez. He was a one-time All-Star in 2014. He also was a 2-time Silver Slugger, believe it or not, playing second base and shortstop. One of his, I wouldn't say best season, but a very, very good rookie season where he finished second in Rookie of the Year voting, hit 21 home runs that season with a 290 batting average and 792 OPS. But he ultimately played 9 years, 8 with the White Sox, 1 with the Padres, and then played 17 games with the Rays in his age 34 season. For his career, he had 115 homers, 270 career batting average, 700 OPS, 89 OPS plus. He also had some stolen bases as well. I think he had I don't think he had ever a 2020 season, but he had, some 15 20s in that range. And the other thing is he never struck out more than 100 times in a season. So he was very contact oriented. I say all that to say that his career WAR is not 17 point something, but it is 21.8.
Okay. Close
in the
enough.
ballpark.
In the ballpark. I'm in there. Alexei, sorry about the -4 points, but
Yeah.
it was fun to see you in a Rays uniform for 17 games.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of a decline, but not enough to detract him down to 17. But he did have negative seasons really in 2016, and then 2015 started falling apart a little bit. So there we go. All right. Hope you all enjoyed, and hopefully the Rays can continue winning this weekend. We will discuss all that and more on Monday. Talk to you then.